Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, May 2nd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will still be moving around. That is because the market's open for a small amount of time still. But I do like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, CTMX. Quite the big mover today, and now have ourselves a good solid pattern that you got to think a lot of people are watching. And I make that comment about a lot of people watching it because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So let me change that to green to represent support and maybe make the pattern a bit easier to see. Let's just make it one color now. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosive move right here. And for you golfers, try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee, is it valid? Is it plausible that if the price were to come up here and push up through there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So if you like stocks down below $10, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, AKAN, and overall an interesting scenario, assuming you like the general context here, and these being if you like to play pullbacks, because as of right now, things are looking pretty shaky, especially, I mean, can you imagine some poor souls bought up there? Hopefully they were using stop losses, but at this point, the price has been pulling back quite a bit. But with that being said, it's still at some very interesting levels, namely that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes the 200 period moving average. You can see it went down there and actually bounced very nicely right off of it. Now, does that mean for sure guaranteed the pullback's over and this thing's going to curl back upwards? No, of course not, but it does make it a little more plausible. Case in point, let's say the price was still dropping, and I'm sitting here saying, oh, it's looking like the pullback's over. You'd be totally justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally still just going down. But that's not the case here. It has at least leveled out, started to get a little bit of a bounce here. So is this some sort of leading indicator of a bigger recovery back to the upside? Yeah, that becomes a lot more plausible at this point in time. But at the moral of the story here is if you like penny stocks and you like to play more so pullbacks, certainly keep an eye on this one. Next one here, SQQQ, very big mover today. And this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video previously, but if you did, then hopefully remember me talking about that trend line right there that I put into play as a support. And was it exact? It was not exact, but I think we'd all agree, pretty clear that it got right around that general area before a nice bounce. So for anybody that watched the previous videos, took note of that trend line and accumulated down around that trend line, you got a big reward as this thing has made a very nice bounce. So moral of the story there, key level of support remains the same. Just continue to watch that green line right there. As far as ideal levels, yeah, preferably if the price could stay above the 200 period moving average, that pink line, and the 50 period moving average, that purple line, that would be great. But overarching, as long as the price is above that green line there, then overall that implies that the price is building higher bases, which is what you want to see. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, I'm going to just go ahead and adjust this level up. In my mind, there's a resistance zone now that's been formed. Initial part of the zone right here at 1205, and then the top part of the zone right up there at 1230. So a 25 cent, what I would call resistance zone up around here. And if the price can actually get up to that area and break through it, that'd be a very, very impressive sign of strength. Next one here, NIO, and a very, very impressive move today. Going into the day, we had this pretty much wedge pattern here. I'm doing it very crudely, but spent all of Tuesday, kind of just flirting with that area, but today finally got the official breakout that occurred on great volume, and now the rest is, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and just clean these all out because they've served their purpose for now, and we'll just start afresh here because we once again have one of these patterns that you got to think a lot of people are watching, so I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is a great discovery on my part. Got to think a lot of people have drawn something very similar to this. And again, I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels, watching the same patterns, it can create some of those self-fulfilling prophecies. So we again have basically a bull pennant pattern. So we have the top of the resistance up there at 542. We have that trend line of support right there. We have the big explosive move right here. We have the golf hole down here. So another bull pennant pattern. And I would call NIO borderline cult stock for sure. I don't know if it's quite a cult stock, but that's a good thing because when cult stocks or borderline cult stocks just mean there's that many more eyeballs watching it, which creates that much more of a possibility of those self-fulfilling prophecies on maybe some sort of breakout and then continuation. So certainly keep an eye on it if you like this price range. Next one, TLRY, and as of now, things are looking pretty shaky. I'm not willing to say that it's ruined, but it being right here. Sorry, I should have probably defined that. It meaning that big, strong move here because, yeah, there has been a pullback. With all that being said, to be fair, the price is still above two very important overall moving averages. As I said earlier, purple line 50-period moving average and pink line 200-period moving average. Now, if the price were to drop down below both of these, so if the price were to pull back and now it's below there, well, then at that point, that would literally be putting the price right back inside of that range where it was before the big move happened. And that'd be, I mean, essentially a pump and dump. Big move up, and then straight back to where it started. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's why I would definitely consider that 200-period moving average on their pink line a must-hold level of support. In terms of areas of resistance in the very near term, key level to watch, going to be right there at the top part of that little consolidation range right there. If the price can push up through there, then that would certainly be a good leading indicator that some strength has returned and maybe some upwards movement could, kind of gain some momentum. But right now, I wouldn't necessarily call this strength in the sense of upwards movement. I would call it strength in the sense of at least the downwards pressure seems to have stopped and at least it's starting to go sideways. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one, NYCB, and I'm going to go through this one very quickly because you've already heard me talk about this pattern, but sometimes the market just gives you a bunch of good quality patterns, and I think a bull pennant is one of those good quality patterns. So let's just get this drawn into play. And just because I can't help myself, we have to make it the same color because I want to make sure everybody can visualize it. So we have resistance, we have support, we have the big move up, and we have the golf hole down here. So there's a good variety. Once again, another one down below that $10 range. So if you're somebody that likes stocks down below $10, you like bull pennant patterns, then you're going to have quite the variety to choose from here as we head into Thursday. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and very, very interesting chart here because this afternoon with the Fed meeting really started to come to life. Unfortunately, that has rolled all the way back over. And now, at least in my opinion, the pressing question becomes, okay, that was really miserable. That was a terrible fake breakout. But now as the price comes back down, is this 179.20-ish area going to be able to hold? It was a very important level pretty much all day today and did a great job of holding. But yeah, a lot of downwards momentum has shown up. So if the price does come down to that area, is it going to be able to hold? So got to think a lot of eyeballs will be watching right around 179-ish on Thursday for that reason there, because it's never a good thing when you get a good solid breakout and then the breakout essentially kind of gives back all its gains. Now, to be fair, it hasn't given back all its gains, but there is very clearly a lot of downwards momentum here this afternoon, and the market's still closing about 7 minutes. So yeah, 7 minutes for this thing to potentially get down even lower than that. Now, to be fair, maybe this thing all of a sudden curls back upwards because it is Tesla, and this thing can act very strong. I would say we have a very well-defined area of resistance right now, right here at 186. And that's, I would call that a self-fulfilling prophecy point. I mean, look at the number of times where the price was up around that area and just was rejected from it. So while that still doesn't guarantee anything, more than plausible if the price gets up there and pushes up through it, that break could definitely create much more momentum because a bunch of breakout traders start pouring in. So certainly keep an eye on that 186 mark. Next one here, AMZN, Amazon, and wow. And this is why I like to do these when the markets are open. Check this thing out. Look at this last 30 minutes here. And as I speak, this candle is getting bigger and bigger to the downside. So needless to say, a very miserable final 30 minutes here for Amazon. And what I'm curious about now is same general idea as Tesla. Is it going to come down to this area of support right here at the 177 mark? And can it hold if it does? If it doesn't, I'll offer up a little more context. I'm not going to say that's the end of the world or anything like that, but I would say that it makes the chart look very, very sketchy. And if the price were to somehow then break down below that 175 mark, that would make things look very, very bearish. And the bulls, I'm not going to say are completely dead, but it would start to enter into some very shady territory for them. So keep an eye on those couple levels as support. In terms of areas of resistance, if this thing all of a sudden turns around and tries to bounce back up, main area to keep a close eye, in my opinion, right up there around 183.60. But yeah, no doubt about it, this last 30 minutes here, absolutely brutal. Next, CGC, and this one, same general sector of TLRY, one of these marijuana stocks. So huge surge, nasty, nasty, nasty pullback. But this is what I was talking about earlier. Check it out. The nasty pullback has started to go sideways. And in fact, as I speak, if I were to draw a trend line right there, you can see the price is actually broken up through this little miniature pattern right here. So this leads to a very exciting question. Is this the start of something bigger? Think about that question. It makes no sense to ask it if nothing worthwhile is happening. Because then you say, well, is what the start of something bigger? Nothing's happening. But in this situation, it is happening. We have the nasty move down, we have the consolidation, and now we have a bit of an upwards movement that's pushed it through this pattern. Now, to be fair, maybe it's not the start of anything. Maybe this thing rolls right back over and down it goes. That's why risk management matters. But that's a two-sided coin because, maybe this is the start of something bigger, and this thing's getting ready to rock and roll back to the upside. So overall, that's what a watch list is all about. Finding unique, finding these interesting situations, and not randomly rushing out and buying things, but at least keeping an eye on it. So if you find this interesting, if you find this one of these worthwhile things to say, okay, let's see if this is the start of something even bigger, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, TQQQ, and like a couple of these other tech stocks, absolutely brutal last 30 minutes. And the big question here revolves all around those lows right there on this one. Let's call it 51.35 and 51.35. Very, very important. And I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down to the level, break down below it, what do you have all of a sudden? Well, now all of a sudden you have the price all the way back down to where it was at that point before a very, very respectable bounce. From here all the way up to there, if that thing were to again then go right back to where it was, that would be a brutal looking chart. So again, it hasn't quite done that, but it's on the potential edge of doing it. So 51.35 going to be very, very important for that reason. And then in terms of areas of resistance, if there is some sort of attempted snapback to the upside, initial level to keep a close eye on right there at 52.75. And then more so from the overarching standpoint, which I talked about before, but check out the moving averages, the power of charts. I'll turn that into a quick plug. Go get signed up for that free webinar. But check this out. Huge bounce, and look right where the momentum eventually disappeared. Right there at kind of the Bash Brothers, right there. That 200 period and 50 period moving average before getting rejected right back down. So those will definitely be the main overarching areas of resistance on any sort of attempted reversal and bounce. Now, if you do trade Bitcoin, I'm going to do a bonus Bitcoin analysis here in just a second. But for you stock traders out there, if you like what you saw, then again, go get signed up for that free class. It'll be very soon, Thursday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So go get signed up and I'll see you there, hopefully. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. Quick first clarification, we are now looking at the 4-hour time frame. So each candlestick represents 4 hours. And that is because Bitcoin is open 24/7. So I want this analysis to last and be relevant for as long as possible. And overall, very, very rough movement. These were two areas of support that I talked about in yesterday's video about 24 hours ago. And they've both been absolutely destroyed. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level here. And then just offer up a little bit more context just so you can see that the price is now down at lows that it's not seen for several weeks now. And first key update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So let's just say you're watching this video 20 hours from now. Question number one you need to ask yourself is, where is the price at relative to 59,660? If you're saying the price is actually up above that level, that'd be a very good sign. That would imply that Bitcoin has not only stopped going down, but has recovered enough to work its way back up to there and then even break through that area of resistance. So any answer of up above 59,660, very, very good situation for Bitcoin for those reasons. Now, if you're saying, okay, well, no, Clay, the price is actually down below there still, okay, then you need to ask yourself, where's the price at relative to that level right there at 56,480? And that is important because as of right now, that's where the buyers have stepped in basically 3 times in a row. So multiple times the bears have tried to push down through there and the bulls have held strong. So if you're answering the question that the price is above that level but down below here, that would essentially mean that right now when you're watching the video, Bitcoin is in a form of trying to consolidate out at the bottom. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below that green line. Okay, at that point, how far down below? And the further down the price is below that level, that would just be telling you the more and more bearish the move has not only been, but has become that much more of. So definitely keep your eye on these couple levels here. Ask yourself those questions, and that'll give you the best idea of where Bitcoin currently stands whenever you're watching this analysis. And as I did for the stock traders, I want to invite you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to get signed up for this class too, because what you'll learn about definitely can and should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin also. So it'll be Thursday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Go get signed up. If you enjoy these top 10 videos plus Bitcoin, hit that like button, leave a comment below, even if it's just a thumbs up, say hi. Let me know what your watch list is, or if you have any sort of requests, please let me know, and I can try to do that as part of the watch list tomorrow. So any sort of requests would be great too. Go get signed up for that free class. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.